Hey, what's going on, cash flow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180, and for this video, I want to be talking to you about the 4 things you need your money to do for you if you want to be successful. And I say this because I write about it in my book, Cash Flow Hacking. And if you're interested, go down below in the description, get your copy of Cash Flow Hacking right down below. And make sure, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel, click the bell, that way you get notified every time I launch a new video, because got all sorts of amazing content coming out. But for now, let's just get right into this. So here's the bottom line. When we talk about money and when we talk about our financial strategies and what we're doing to be successful with our money, I look around and I see most people are just doing what they're doing because they're just told, hey, you should just go to school, get a job, put money in your 401k, and invest in target date funds because some people in Congress for some reason thought that was a good idea. My guess is they probably got bought off by some lobbyist somewhere somehow. But the bottom line is when we look at our money, I'm a big believer, and I was told this a long time ago by mentors, if you want to be successful, you got to find people who have the life you want and emulate what they do until you have what they have, right? And when I look around the world, I don't see the people that have the life that I want to live. This is what I know. This is kind of what got me. This is part of my journey to get me where I am now. Is I didn't see them investing in mutual funds. I didn't see them, investing in 401ks. I saw them investing in their businesses. I saw them investing in real estate. I saw them doing all things like this, right? And so, when I started talking to them, there started to be some similarities between all of the successful people that I was surrounding myself with about what they were doing to create the life that they loved, to create the life that they wanted to give themselves more control with their money, to be able to ultimately help amplify and compound that wealth, right? And so what I realized in those conversations is that wealthy people don't think about, should I invest in a 401k or a Roth IRA or any other kind of account. What they do is they think about, what are the attributes, right? What is my money doing for me? And what do I need my money to do for me? And realizing that investments are just tools to get your money to do for you what you need it to do for you to create wealth. And so the cool part there is that when you look at this, it's actually very simple. While the financial industry is trying to convince you that, personal finance and investment planning and retirement planning is all this really complicated thing that you need to buy and hold and weather the storm, and the market is cyclical and you got to just kind of let it average out and do the dollar cost averaging and all these different things. It's all a bunch of noise and smoke and mirrors to keep you distracted and away from really the simple moving parts about helping you, avoiding the simple moving components of it. That way you just stay distracted and you're not focused on getting where you need to go. And the reality is, if you just ignore all the noise, the simplicity behind this is right in front of you. So here's the deal. I want to get into the 4 things that I think are, based on my research, based on my conversations, based on my observations, based on my experiences, all these different things, the 4 things that you need your money to do for you, and the attributes, kind of the objectives that you need to have for your money to get where you want to go. So the first one is appreciation. Now, your money needs to appreciate. Nobody's going to go around there, but here's the thing. Appreciation is usually where this conversation stops. Most people think, well, what is appreciation? Appreciation is effectively the rate of return. You want your money to grow. And so most people think about, well, I want to get a better rate of return. Now, a rate of return is great, but thinking about the rate of return on its own is just very short-sighted. And honestly, if you do that, you're going to be left out in the cold. You're not going to get where you want to go. And the biggest challenge, I think, one of the biggest issues that we have in this country is people have been kind of duped into thinking they can get these big rate of returns in mutual funds, 10, 12% in some cases, because we got these quote unquote financial experts out there telling people that you can get 12% returns in mutual funds, which is just absolutely asinine. But people are expecting that, and it's our expectations. If they're not in alignment with reality, then ultimately you're going to wind up in a pretty poor situation when it comes to your money. Expectations have to be in alignment with reality and your clear objectives, and you have to have a path to execute, right? So appreciation is the first thing. Now, the second objective that you have to have is that it has to create cash flow. Now, once again, there's a reason I named this book Cash Flow Hacking, is because the concept of hacking is simply just saying, okay, if people are out there doing something successful, I want to figure out how can I hack what they're doing to get the results that they have, right? And so cash flow hacking is all about how do I do what people are doing to create cash flow investing strategies in the most successful way possible. And here's the crazy part. When you do this, when you start thinking about investing for cash flow instead of investing for accumulation, right, and just appreciation and stuffing money away and hoping for this long-term buy and hold thing, you can compress your 40-year retirement plan or 30-year retirement plan, depending on when you started, into about a 10-year retirement plan, right? So think about that. If I had the choice to choose the same amount of effort and energy in having a 30-year window versus a 10-year window, I'm going to choose a 10-year window every single time. Cash flow is a beautiful thing because it gives us control. It gives us flexibility. It allows us, no matter what, to increase our standard of living, right? You can either continually let that cash flow compound and continue to work for you, or at some point in time you can decide to maybe flip a switch and take some of the cash flow to increase your lifestyle, take some of the cash flow to give to charity, take some of the cash flow to pay for your kids' college, take some of the cash flow to do whatever you want and keep the rest of it growing, or you can let it all just grow. Or you can hit the point where you want to retire and you say, hey, listen, I'm financially free now. I've got more cash flow coming in that I have lifestyle expenses and overhead to live my life every month and every year. So I'm just going to flip that switch and I'm going to be completely financially free. And that's that. What I know is that the human brain will only allow you to put 100% of effort into something that you believe with 100% certainty that you'll succeed in, right? So if you're earning $100,000 right now and you're 30 years old, and as an individual or a household, let's just talk a household. Let's say you have two people earning $50,000 a year. That means 30 years from now, you're going to need about $330,000. 35 years from now, you're going to need $330,000 to maintain that standard of living of $100,000 today because of inflation. It's just the way it works, right? And so when you look at that, how much money you're going to need in a retirement account to maintain your standard of living, it's about $8 million. I don't know about you, but for me, the human brain doesn't equate well to thinking, I'm going to do this with any level of confidence that I'm putting $10,000 a year, which is 10% of your income, away, thinking it's going to grow to $8 million in 35 years, because it's just not going to do it, right? And you know that, and so psychologically, you go, well, why am I even going to try if I know it's not going to work? I mean, doing something is better than nothing. I get that, but the bottom line is you don't need to do that. If your number, right, if $10,000 a month is your number, or $100,000 a year, I should say, so it's not $10,000 a month. It's actually, all things said, probably $8,300 a month. So if $8,300 a month is your number, then what I would suggest doing is trying to build cash flow up to $8,300, because now your brain can wrap itself around $8,300 pretty easily, but it can't wrap itself around $8 million, right? And so with $8,300, you can have the confidence that you can chip away at that, right? Like, when you get $500, a month in cash flow, now all of a sudden you're going, wow, I'm almost, 7% of my way to getting to my goal, right? And then, 8, 9, 10 months later, you get another one. Now you're 14% there, and it goes and it goes and it goes. And when you let that money compound on itself, literally within 10 years, you can be completely free. So the third thing that you need your asset to do for you is reduce your tax liability. Now, I'm not talking about a deferral in taxes. We live in the lowest tax rate environment. I talk about this a lot in a lot of videos. Once again, if you haven't seen, if this is your first video, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I launch a video, because I talk about this kind of stuff all the time. 401ks, IRAs, qualified plans, they were great in the early 80s because of the fact that taxes were high and you could have deferred taxes in the 80s only to take distributions and income on that money today in a lower tax rate environment. But the reality is the environment's changed. We're now in a low tax rate environment. So what you do in a low tax rate environment is different than when it's high. So why would you defer taxes today in this low environment when we're $30 trillion in debt and over $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities? Interest rates are going up. There's going to be a lot of stress on the government to raise taxes because we've got to pay for our debt as a nation. And so that's just going to put stress on every retirement account, every 401k qualified account is going to have stress on it from a taxation perspective. That is my belief. That is what I believe in my core. And that is why I believe you should always make sure that you don't just have a tax deferral, but you have a tax deduction and you can actually reduce your tax liability. Not get a deferral today, but reduce your tax liability over your lifetime. That is what matters most. That is what financial efficiency is all about. So you need your asset. Once again, I'm going to go back to the beginning. You need it to appreciate to this point. You need it to create cash flow, and you need it to create tax deductions, right? Tax efficiency, if you will. Now, the other thing that you need to do, the fourth thing, is you need it to provide leverage. You need to be able to leverage it to be able to get to be able to compound the growth and to be able to accelerate the growth. Now, what do I mean by leverage? I mean taking one asset and being able to leverage it for other assets to be able to accelerate the growth. Now, I talk about this a lot. It's way too much to talk about in this video, but I talk about it in this book in great detail. I've got some other videos on the channel that talk about it in a bit more detail as well. And so I would really encourage you to subscribe. Once again, hit that bell, because I'm telling you right now, with the world that we're living in, with inflation the way it's going, with the uncertainty in the political world, with the uncertainty just in the economy as a whole, with all the stimulus that's happened, with what's going on in Russia and Ukraine and all these things, the markets don't like uncertainty. And one of the things that I know, I'm not sure if we're going to have an inflationary environment long term or a deflationary environment. One of the things that I know to be true is that the strategy that you implement better prepare you for both, and you better have flexibility, because if you don't, there's a good chance you're going to be left out in the cold. Now, I obviously don't know what direction the world is going to go, but what I do know is that it's not going to just stay in this nice comfortable phase that we're in right now for much longer. So what you do over the next, let's say 6 to 24 months is going to have is going to be a big tipping point. It's going to be a big marker for you on what the rest of your life potentially looks like. And I believe that in my soul. Like, I believe that so deep down, I can't even explain it. So it's one of the reasons I make these videos, one of the reasons I'm so passionate about doing this. So anyway, I hope that helps, and I know it does. Once again, if you want to get a free copy of this book, go down in the description below. Make sure you click on it. You can go to Amazon, get it for $20, or you can go to the website and get it for free. I just ask that you pay the $8.95 for shipping and handling, so it's effectively like a $12 discount on the book, which is pretty cool. We cover the cost of the book, just cover the cost of the shipping for me, and honestly, it's that simple. So if you have any questions at all, comment in the comment section below. If you want to talk to a cash flow hacking endorsed agent, go down on the Life 180 link, click on there, and you can talk to one of the endorsed agents with Life 180. Have a conversation with one of them. And, once again, it's just a clarity call. It can help you out. But that's it. That's it. If you found value in this video, hit the subscribe button, click that bell, smash that like button. Till next video. Have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See ya.